reading comprehension, which is a topic for the day. Obviously, you're very familiar with what's involved in reading comprehension. You read a dense text, and then you answer questions afterwards. You did a number of these in the SAT, and the LSAT is quite similar to the SAT, except of course that the texts are considerably more difficult. Unlike the SAT, the questions don't come in any particular sequence related to the text. Whereas if you remember in the SAT, you have you have the questions that are more or less in order according to which the points come up in the text. So the first two questions are usually about what's going on in the paragraph 1. The next two are about paragraph 2, and so on. And then finally, when you've done everything, you'll get a few questions about the text as a whole. But you don't have that in the LSAT. The LSAT, the first question is invariably about the text as a whole. So it presupposes an understanding of what the text is about. The approach should always be strategic. So it always has about a strategic reading. And what I mean by that is that you have to read these texts, which, as I say, are often quite dense and quite difficult. You have to read these texts with one purpose in mind only, and that is to answer the questions. And that may seem obvious, but it's something that's very, very important. You're not reading the text in the way that you would normally read, which is for pleasure, for entertainment, for interest, to learn something new, to be able to take part in a discussion or an argument or whatever. Here you're only reading it with a view to answering questions. So it's very important to extract as much information as you can in the minimum amount of time, but with a view to anticipating the kinds of questions that they'll be asking. So you always have it in mind that there'll be certain types of questions, there'll be certain kinds of points that are going to be raised in the questions, and that you have to be reading that text with a view to answering those questions, so to grasp those important points. So therefore, you have to read aggressively, you have to read strategically. You want to avoid getting bogged down with unnecessary details. So you've got to just keep always in mind, I'm going to be answering 5 or 6 questions. I have a pretty good idea of what sort of issues are going to come up, and therefore that's the information that I'm going to extract from the text. So what are the questions that they ask? Well, there are 3 basic types of questions. And let me, there are the main idea questions. The first question after the text is nearly always a main idea questions. The main idea questions include such points as what is author's purpose? Author's purpose. What would be a suitable title for the passage? What is author's central argument? Author's central argument. Can everyone see what I've written? Is there anyone not see what I've written? There might also be questions about author's tone. What is author's tone? Is he being argumentative? Is he being scholarly? what exactly is, being polemical, whatever. So you're always going to have a question along those lines. And as I say, the first question after the passage will always be about, will be a main idea question. So, that's always so. When you're reading, you have to be reading with a view to extracting that main point. You want to be, right away, you want to be zooming in on the main point of the passage. So like, okay, what is the basic argument? There's clearly a basic argument here that I need to extract. Other main idea questions also involve organization. And what that means is how has the author chosen to convey his subject? So what exactly is he doing? Is he talking about a recent scientific experiment? Is he reviewing a recent book? Is he comparing two recent scholarly works? Is he discussing some political argument that's taking place today? So you want to always have a sense of how has the author organized it? What's the peg on which he's hanging it all on? And another type of question is structure. In other words, you hear how has the author put together the passage? What role does each paragraph play in the passage as a whole? So you want to always have a sense of how he has framed the argument. So it's like is paragraph 2 supplementing the arguments of paragraph 1, or is he contradicting it? Is paragraph 3 a way of resolving an argument, or is he basically supplementing the arguments presented in paragraph 2? So you want to these paragraphs are put together quite carefully. So you want to have a sense of how these paragraphs are structured, and then therefore what role each plays in the argument. So the way to answer these types of questions, the strategic approach should be, let's write this down. Strategic approach to main idea questions. Okay, we have, say, read first paragraph carefully. And that even as you're reading it, keep in mind what is the argument that's being developed, because in that first paragraph, the main argument will be put forward. So if you read that carefully, you already have a sense before you approach the remainder of the text. What is the basic argument? What's the main point the author is presenting? So read that first paragraph carefully. Then read first and last sentences of subsequent paragraphs carefully. The first and last sentences are very important because those reveal really what's coming up in the coming paragraph, and how this differentiates itself from what was said earlier in the passage.